Well, good evening and welcome to another scintillating episode of Porch Talk.
Chapter 27.
Amen.
Amen. Yes.
I, of course, am Paul W. Marino, and my partner here is, of course, Phil
Phil,
the Pheasant.
And I am Ed Morandi, and I'm related to Phil somehow. I can't figure it out, but we're related somehow. What's happened? We didn't do a show 2 weeks ago because of
That's right.
illness
Last
on
week.
my part,
Yeah.
but things have been progressing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they have.
Okay.
So, what was your illness?
Leg
Oh,
and this arm was actually painful. I went to PT today, and they said it was a nerve situation, but I had a couple nurses tell me that 3-4 weeks ago it was a nerve situation, and it's kind of baffled me because somebody said one time, "There's not a nerve in your body." And I said, "I don't know how I did." Anyhow, we're back. We're not quite 100%, but like I said, I did PT today without my brace on.
wow.
Without a brace on, and I walked without a cane. I did 2 laps, probably about the size of this room here. I did pretty good. And you had a little episode, I understand.
Yes, I did. At this time last week, I was building up toward prepping for a colonoscopy and endoscopy. And this time I was going to sleep through both. You know, personally, and I realize this sounds crazy to some people, I like being awake for a colonoscopy.
Right, so
Because
did I.
It's not painful, it's just uncomfortable at a couple of places. And when you're awake, you get to watch the show. So Dr. Zhang was going to knock me out with a rolling pin, I think.
I think he does.
And he was going to send the camera down my throat first.
Are you sure that's the way they were going
Yes.
first? Okay.
Yeah, and then they were going to tip me onto my side and do the colonoscopy.
Which side?
Onto this side, because this is where things come out now.
And also on your left side because your appendix is on the other side. And they do not want to hit the appendix when they go through. They don't want to push it at all. They want to bypass it, so they put you on your left side so that they can.
Well, actually, I think, yeah, that's right. I was on the left side the last time too.
Yep.
But
But
I do remember one colonoscopy where the doctor knew I was interested, and so he pointed out that's the opening to your appendix.
appendix, yes.
And then he worked it up into the small intestine so I could see that. And I hadn't seen that since I was in Johnson School watching some documentary where they actually had a camera inside the small intestine. And you can see all the little fingers waving.
Oh, yeah, the flagella, what do they call them? I forgot what they call them. I had biology in high school, so I remember what they called them up until I retired. Then I don't remember anything.
So at any rate, I was getting ready for that. And on Sunday, I was going to start the serious work of clearing things out. Well, Saturday morning, I got up and I had a bite of breakfast that didn't really taste right. And I went back to my chair, and to keep the yuck factor down as much as possible, let's just say I was stricken with a very powerful stomach virus that really turned things in a bad way. So when I could get out of the chair, I went and unlocked the back door and sat down and called for an ambulance. And they came and I had to walk out the back door by myself,
Oh,
down the steps, and they had the gurney all ready for me. And they brought me up to the emergency room in North Adams, where I stayed until around midnight.
wow.
And
Well, it was,
the other part of the stomach virus was really acting up there.
oh boy.
So the doctor was ready to send me home, but I didn't really feel I was ready. So he called the hospital in Pittsfield, and next thing you know, the ambulance was taking me down there. Now, one thing I did not like, and I know that you know the people to talk to about this, on the way to Pittsfield, I deliberately asked one of them to sit where I could see them.
Okay.
And he said, no, I'm going to stay here and type on my computer. Why couldn't he type on his computer sitting to my left or to my right where there's a seat?
You asked him to change seats so you could see him?
Yeah.
Okay. I will report this.
All right, thank you.
You don't know the name, do you? Don't tell me over the air. Tell me
No,
afterwards. if
no,
you
I
don't.
do not
Yeah.
know the name. But we got
It was a
down there.
man? It was a man?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the woman was driving this time.
This was Saturday night? Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know who was on. I'll find out.
So when we got to Pittsfield, I was not delivered to the ER there. Instead, they brought me right upstairs into a room and shunted me over into the bed. And I did much better there than I did at the emergency room. And Monday morning, the doctor wanted to see me walk because she was ready to send me home, and the question was, could I walk?
Yeah?
So I put a second Johnny on backwards so that my back would be covered. And a couple nurses followed me out into the hall, and I was singing, I'll get by as long as I have you, while I walked. And I did a complete circuit of the hall.
Good.
And so I was able to call Ralph, and he came and got me.
Oh, he did? Well, no, where's he living?
He lives in
Avalon?
Valley Falls, New York.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I marked that down, so I'll relay the message. Valley, where's that?
Valley Falls, you know where Scattercoke is?
Scattercoke.
Yeah, it's
That's where
right, essentially right next door.
Okay, that's where the Scattercoke Fair is.
Yes.
That's where the Scattercoke Indians lived. They were part of the Mohicans. Let's not get into Indians tonight,
All right.
okay?
And speaking of Ralph, as I told you before the show, Ralph and his wife Jackie are going to be celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary
Wow.
in July.
Wow. They must have got married right after high school,
No, after college.
after college. Yeah. Oh, that's right, too, yeah. Before?
I remember their wedding.
You were just a kid, weren't you?
Yeah, I was 9.
9 years old? Wow.
What I particularly remember, however, is the church had a 4-holer outhouse. 2 holes on the men's side and 2 on the women's.
Which side was bigger? Which had bigger?
I believe they were equally sized.
Equally sided, okay. Ah. So,
I had never been in an actual outhouse before.
oh, you were 9 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could have fell through.
That would have been interesting.
I can't make out that photograph. I've been trying to figure out what it was, and I can't.
Well, it is a little grainier than I would like. So, Dave, would you please put the photo in front of us? Thank you. Now, for those of you who are watching, yes, both of you, we are asking you to call in and tell us who this group of people is. I will tell you that the photo was taken in 1927. As for where it was taken, there are a couple of clear landmarks in the background, both of which are gone now, but they were there when the photo was taken, and they were there when anyone my age was in high school. So, who is this band here? And the photo was taken in 1927. Where was it taken?
It's not Earth, Wind, and Fire, is it?
No, it's
No?
not.
Okay.
I wish it was. So, okay, Dave, you can put it behind us again.
How does he do that?
Oh, he's just amazing.
Switch things like that, or just
Yeah.
buttons? All buttons?
Well, you can do it with a button, but he refuses to do it that
Okay.
way.
Doing a good job, David. Oh dear. So,
And so that brings us to, only 45 minutes to go.
I was telling you earlier, I was telling Paul I was on the computer last night for almost 3 hours getting things straightened out. And of course, he told me a joke about someone we knew who has since gone to heaven. He said to her, "You can't be on the computer. You got to be next to the computer working."
Yeah.
Yeah. But I spent the. Good thing my son was there to help me out to begin, to find out the sites, just to find the sites, because I could dot slash line dot slash. It was this long, to type it in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was telling Paul, I was reading stuff, and it was like, this part of the program is 10 minutes. So I pressed on it, and I read the 10 minutes, and I go to number 6, and boop, this part is 30 minutes. You read the 30 minutes, and then you get, boop, this part is only 2 minutes. Get the 2 minutes, you're not done yet, you gotta go to, Oh my gosh. But we straightened everything out.
Oh, that's good.
So who called in? Anybody call in yet?
No one's called in, and I think it's because we didn't tell them what the number is. The number to call in, 664-4408. May the good Lord take a liking to you and blow you up real soon. Yeah, if you have a guess about this photo, if you don't have a guess,
The fifth dimension. No?
No. Now, how many times do I have to tell you, you are not allowed to guess?
Oh, that's right, too.
Oh,
Tell him. I did guess at the beginning what it was. I wasn't quite sure where it was, but after you mentioned something earlier on the program, I said, oh yes, now I remember. 1927. I wasn't.
no, that's right. You wasn't.
I wasn't.
You didn't come along until
Before World War II.
1942.
No. Before World War II. I was born before the war. I was born in 41.
Oh,
Have you been reading about the war in the Ukraine?
no.
I've been catching it on MSN and looking at the things, and now Putin says they may join with China because they need a lot of people, because they lost a lot of tanks, they lost the airplanes, they lost a lot of things. And now the Ukrainians are attacking in the Crimean and the border of Russia, and things are getting bad. And he says, well, maybe we'll have to use nukes. And I said, oh, no, not now. Not now. We were the only ones that used nukes, but that was a bad time,
Yeah.
a bad situation, and it saved a lot of lives, but killed a lot of people. So, if you give us a call at 664-444-08, we can talk whatever on your mind. It doesn't have to be about sickness, about the war, about Phil, about Paul, or about I. Talk about the photograph. I was trying to count the people there, and it's a big Benny Goodman orchestra, maybe. No? Okay. It's a large group
Benny
of people.
Goodman would be terrific.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course, my brother-in-law, he's kind of partial to Woody Herman and the Herd. But I liked Benny Goodman. I liked a lot of the big band eras. There's some of them that played at the State Armory here. Harry James and his orchestra.
Well, not just at the Armory, Johnny's Dance Palace
Johnny's
on Main
Dance
Street.
Palace upstairs by the Sons of Italy over the bowling alley. That was a
And,
nice place.
Yeah, and the
Meadowbrook.
Meadowbrook.
Meadowbrook Arena had some big bands down there. At the State Armory had some, at the end they had some good bands down there. Well, I can remember local people who sang in the local bands. Mr. Trudeau's brother had a band, Larry Trudeau had a band, and I believe his front person was, let's see, was she sing for Larry Trudeau? I think she did. It was Terry Metrigali sang for, I believe she sang for Larry Trudeau. If anybody out there can correct me on that, I'd appreciate it. There were some local bands that hit it big, and some of the local talent in the area hit it real big. Who went with Glenn Miller? Who was a local person from Hoosick Falls go with Glenn Miller to play, sing? Was it Bob Eberly? I don't know. I can't remember. It gets to the point where you forget things.
That's true.
It is true. So here we are again on a Friday night. I had a busy day today. We started off at the Daily Grind at 11:30 with my friends from Cheshire, Tom and Nancy Zapula. We had the Friday stand-in date at 11:30 every Friday. We go down there for lunch. And then I came home and I had to change outfits and go to PT. And when I got out of PT, I had to come home and change again to come down here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just busy. I thank God for my wife driving me around. Joan's been my chauffeur. Maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe in a week or two, I'll be able to drive again.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah. It's been a long, since August. It's been a long time. And people say sometimes, like when you get the shingles, like I did on this side, that it lasts for years. My son-in-law's mother had the shingles for almost over a year now. Her body was racked with pimples and spots, and she carried it on for a year, and she was in pain for a long time. Joan says she's in pain too, but her pain's mostly me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know that.
Well, you know, it says a lot for getting the inoculation for it
Well,
ahead of time.
yeah, I thought about that maybe about 3 weeks before it happened. Well, I had my platelets dropped down to 2, and then when I got cured up in Bennington, the doctor said to me, they have a shingles shot that you should be thinking about getting. And I said, you're right, maybe next time I come up, I'll get it. Well, between the time he told me that and the next time, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I was very lucky as far as that goes. I did get it. I didn't get it when I should have gotten it, but I did get it before shingles came my way.
okay. That's good. I mean, you get it's like the, what's the pneumonia that they take, prenatal pneumonia shots
Oh,
that
yes.
they take, yeah. And I always say, well, you're past your 80th birthday, we're gonna start worrying about it now. And the answer is, if you want to end up like Phil, forget about it. So what's new in the line of retirees?
Well, not much.
Not much?
Yeah, well, of course, you were at the last meeting.
I was at the last meeting. My wife joined last month.
Mm-hmm, that's good. That's good. Always happy to have new members, especially female members.
Yeah. I was surprised when I first come back to the
Not because we're
retiree.
dirty old men.
No, but when I
No,
first
it's
come back,
certainly part of it.
yeah, you thought of it. When I got there and I noticed there was like four or five females there, and I said, wow, now when we have a picnic, they can give us some information on how to do things. And I mean, since Jim Bush passed away, who's doing the cooking? I don't know, but
I'm sure someone will come forward.
someone will come forward. I know Al Mancuso is doing a good job as the president, and the secretary.
Yeah, Doug Greenlaw.
Doug Greenwald is doing a good job as secretary, and of course, Chuck Lewitt is doing a good job as the treasurer.
And so far, I have not managed to screw it up too badly as vice president.
As vice president. And I do have a joke for the next meeting.
Oh, good.
Yes, I mean, I went through my repertoire and I did find one joke that didn't have some nasty words in it, so I'll use that joke.
Excellent.
Well, where's the phone calls?
If you do like jokes with nasty words in them,
No.
this one you will.
Oh,
Make a note of this. You want to look up on YouTube Rowan Atkinson, Dirty Names. And it's a schoolmaster taking attendance, and everyone has dirty names.
well,
I'm a dick. I'm a dick. You know I'm a dick, don't you?
well,
And some of them are worse than that.
I worked with a guy, I won't use his first name, but his last name was Bader. He was from Cheshire. And he went to Phillips Academy. And he met the teacher and he said, you can call me Ed, okay? And the teacher said, we're at Phillips Academy and you'll learn to use your right name. This is Master Jones, this is Master Smith, and you will be known as Master. Got it? Oh, yeah. He always told that joke, and he never laughed. He never smiled. He told it. I said, oh, my gosh. Oh. So are we going to abbreviate this tonight, or are we going to go? We're going to go 999?
Well, Let me see here.
We're
We
past-
are almost
we're past-
halfway through.
Yeah, we're past halfway. Yeah.
Oh,
If we don't get a phone call, let's start calling people.
all right.
Can we call out of that?
Actually, I don't think so.
Uh,
Well, we can give it a try. 911.
oh dear.
Well,
Oh, I
you
had
know-
an interesting thing. Excuse me. I had an interesting thing. My wife and I went out Wednesday, Thursday. Today's Friday. It was Wednesday. We went out Wednesday, and when we come home, there's a 20-yard roll-off in front of our garage. Somebody left a big green roll-off in front of our garage. So I didn't get too excited. I went in, I called my son. No, he didn't order it. I called my daughter, they didn't order it. Called my other daughter, they didn't order it. I said, okay, if nobody ordered it, I gotta call the number that's on the side of the roll-off. So I did. And then I got the old, this number has been disconnected, no longer in service. So I said, oh boy, what do I do now? Well, I pay taxes. So I dial 44944, beep, got a dispatcher, and I says, Ed Morandi, such and such address. I got a 20-yard roll-off in front of my garage. One car can't get out. We just about got the other car in. We don't know who ordered the roll-off or anything. Well, what's the number? So we gave him the number, and got called back and said the number's no longer in service. We're sending up a police officer. So he come up, it was one of the new ones, very nice gentleman. And we sat there, and finally my son came in the meantime and found out who the roll-off belonged to, and called him up and said, the roll-off's here. And they said, well, it was ordered for 722 West Shaft Road. And he said, no, we didn't order this. Well, so let me check on this. He said, okay, what's your name? Kathy. Okay, Kathy, call me back. So he waited a while, waited, and then I said, well, I called him again, and another girl answered. He says, I called up and they said that this dumpster was ordered for our house. And she says, who told you that? And he said, Kathy did. She says, wait a second. Got off the phone, come back, and she said, Kathy said she never talked to anybody.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. So my son said, we just hung up a little while ago. She talked to me and said that this roll-off was scheduled for 722. She said, no, our record says that it's scheduled for 300. I said, well, wait a second. There's a sign at the bottom of my driveway that says 722. There's a sign right up by where he dropped the roll-off off. It says 722. Why did he drop it here if it's going to 300? You ready for this one? Because he couldn't find 300. So he just dropped
Why
it off.
does that make sense to me?
So he just dropped it off the next driveway. So the police got a hold of them, and finally they said, all right, it's kind of late. It was after 4. The people have gone home for the night, but we'll be up there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we'll take it out of here, and we'll deliver it to 300. The company is blah, blah, blah. And my son said, well, that's the company that's doing MCLA. They're resurfacing the athletic field. So we said, all right, that number is 321, I believe they said it was. I said, well, how did it get to 722? 321 is an odd number. That's on the other side of the street, so it never should have come on this side of the street. Well, the driver said he didn't know where to put it, so he dropped it off at your house. I don't know if it's one of the guys I used to work with or what, but they just dropped it off in my house. And my wife said, we let a good thing go. We should have threw all our garbage and stuff right into the dumpster, but we didn't. So, Phil?
Well, as I was going to say before you started that story, I would like to get the chief of police on here.
He was at the retirees last time, yeah. Yeah. Mr. Bailey, I believe he would come on here. I think we had, no, it was when Bob Moulton and I were doing the show. We had the chief of police, the fire chief, the building inspector. Yeah, we could put a call in for him. The next show's when? First Friday
In July.
July. It'd be the 7th. Mark Bailey. I was amazed when Mark showed up at the retirees meeting. He spoke for almost an hour, maybe a few minutes short of an hour.
45 minutes.
Yeah, and he fielded every question that they had in the audience. He took about 3 questions from myself. Of course, let's see. He was talking about, somebody asked a question about why are they selling assault rifles and stuff like that there, and he was right on the ball. It's a Second Amendment, and they have a right to have them. And somebody said something about automatic weapons, and it should ban semi-automatic weapons. And I jumped up and said, you can't, because every shotgun, unless it's a one single shot, is a semi-automatic weapon. Every revolver is a semi-automatic. Every pistol is a semi-automatic, unless it's a single shot. And Mark and I got to talking about it and discussing it, and I said it's almost impossible, but there is no automatic weapons being sold in Massachusetts unless, and I said, unless you have a federal, I forgot what the name of the license is, but it's a federal license to own an automatic weapon. Well, our police have our SWAT team, whoever they may be on the police force here in North Adams, has a couple of AR-15, I don't know if they're AR-15 or AR-15 type weapons, to put them in an even keel with people who do this kind of damage. Luckily, you don't see schools being attacked in Massachusetts, mostly down south. I wonder what it is. I wonder what it is. I wonder if it's a mentality, if it's the water.
It's not just down south. It's been in Connecticut as well.
Yeah, Connecticut had it, and Colorado had it, but I don't know. People.
Of course, the thing that gets me about the automatic weapons was that a few years ago, well, several years ago, we were watching someone from the NRA being interviewed, and he was asked point blank, why does anyone need an automatic weapon? Oh, well, we have a right to these weapons and blah, 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 blah. And he chattered on for a full minute. And all right, but why does anyone need an auto? Well, we have a right to these weapons. Blah, 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 blah.
You're going off to where a lot of people go. There is no right for an automatic weapon. The Second Amendment does not cover automatic weapons. To have an automatic weapon, you have to have a federally licensed gun ownership for an automatic weapon. All of the school shootings, all the church shootings, all the shootings that are advertised all over, They were not done with an automatic weapon. They were done with a semi-automatic weapon. And the guys that had a rifle and a pistol, a model 1911 45, which is a semi-automatic 45 caliber pistol, that they are semi-automatic. In other words, every time you fire, you have to squeeze the trigger. In an automatic weapon, if you squeeze the trigger once, it just keeps firing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? None of the killings have been done with automatic weapons. They've all been done with semi-automatic weapons. And I kind of agree with you. Why do you need a semi-automatic weapon that holds 30 rounds? And under the Second Amendment, it says for home defense. If that's what you want, that's what you want. It's getting out of hand, that's what it's doing. It's getting out of hand.
Oh, yes.
Of course, I had an argument with a girl from Colorado who said, there's no such thing as people have to have 4, 5, and 6 shots. 1 shot per weapon. And I said, well, your dad had a Sweet 16 Sweet 16 Remington shotgun, and they had 5 shots. Well, that was my father, that's not me. And then, maybe 2 months later, she said, oh, I had to go for my pistol permit to get a pistol permit because I just buying a SIG 9mm, which holds 10 rounds. So they argued about it, and then they went and did the opposite. Anyway, Phil must have got shot with a 12-gauge shotgun.
Yeah, birdshot.
Birdshot. 664-4408. Come on, folks, call in.
Please, you've got to be sick of just hearing our voices.
I'm running out of things
I
to
know
say.
I am.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I had a tiring day too. I got up and I went to the Northern Berkshire Community Coalition's annual meeting.
Oh, that's right, too. That was good.
Which I recorded for them.
Is it going to be on NBCTC?
I hope so.
Okay.
I delivered the memory card to Dave and the names of the speakers.
Now, who runs the coalition now?
Amber Besaw is the executive director. You know, when Alba Shevkin retired, what's his name, who went on to become state senator, was hired. And then he'd had the job for like a couple of months. And then, I have to do this. And he ran for state senator. And Amber...
That wasn't Costa, was it?
No. I can't remember his name, but I disapprove of that. I mean, he took the job. He should have held the job for at least a year before going off and doing something else, because he was the one selected from a long process. But on the other hand, Amber became executive director, and I love what she's done with it.
Now, where are they located? Are they down at,
They are on the second floor of the Empire Building on Main Street, where the theater used to be. Where the Paramount entrance for the Paramount Theater became a restaurant.
Capitol Restaurant?
Yes, Capitol Restaurant. And it's also where, Bona's
Emporium.
Emporium is. Yeah, they're up on the second floor.
Okay.
And one of the things that they announced is they've been thinking about this for a long time. They have just acquired the former car hardware building on State Street that was taken over by the Methodists.
But I was gonna say, wasn't that a church?
Yeah, it was being used by the Methodists, and I don't know why, but they sold it. And so the coalition is going to move in there, they're going to expand it,
All right.
and
Very good. Now, we don't have the executive here with us, but you can elaborate what the coalition actually does for the people in North Adams. Or can
it's
you?
almost a question of what don't they do. If you remember the, Martin Luther King Day,
Right.
that came as a result of a coalition forum. Oh, we have a phone call. Hello and welcome to Porch Talk.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Ronald Sheldon. He just got out of the hospital.
Okay. Do you want to take a guess at the photo?
No, I have no idea. I know it's a band.
You gave that away, you naughty boy.
I didn't give it away.
That's right, I did.
You did.
I'm a naughty boy. Well, thank you for calling.
What was the shout out for what?
I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch it either. So,
But someone who just got out of the hospital.
oh. Was that you or me?
It must have been me.
Yeah, I wasn't in the hospital.
Well, one of the things that I particularly love about the coalition, it relates to something. When I was a teenager, I was in the Methodist Youth Fellowship. And one night, pardon me, we went over to Williamstown, to the Williamstown Methodist Church, and we saw a documentary, and then people started discussing it. And I was hearing a lot of, oh, well, we must do more of this. Oh, yes, you're right. And we must do more of that. Yes, yes. And we must do this, and we must do that. And every time I raised my hand to speak, the minister kept saying, Paul, let the adults talk. Let the adults talk. Well, you know, what I had to say might have been as stupid as the day is long. But then again, maybe it wasn't. My question would have been, well, why aren't we doing these things? You know, I'm hearing why we need to do more of this and more of this. Why aren't we doing those things? Now, someone might have said, well, we have to decide what we're going to do before we can do it. Okay, but that's the great thing about the coalition. Oh dear. Thank you, thing. Oh, for Ronald Sheldon.
Oh, the shout out was for Ron Sheldon.
So the thing about the coalition is anyone who raises their hand to speak at a monthly forum, especially young people, are not going to be told, Ed, let the adults talk. They want to hear from everybody who is there, especially young people. They want to hear what young people have to say because whether you believe it or not, young people are a very important part of the community. And what's more, the discussion does not stop there. When they get back to their office, they make contact with everyone who was part of the discussion and they invite them to come to the office and continue that discussion. And something results from it. One of the things that resulted was the Martin Luther King Day program, which has been happening every year for, let's say 25 years
Yeah,
or more, because the coalition has been around for 37 years. If you remember the neighborhood expos that they used to do, that came out of that. The Summer Youth Basketball League came out of that. You know, they'd get neighborhood kids from various neighborhoods, get them to play basketball against other neighborhoods. And if you like basketball, which I do not, but anybody who wanted to play, who was a kid, was allowed to play. You know, it's something that my father didn't like about Little League. You know, in Little League, it's the good players who play and the bad players sit on the bench. Well, when he was a kid, they played sandlot baseball, and the only rule was somebody pitches the ball, somebody bats. Whoever catches the ball is the next person to pitch.
No.
And the person who was pitching gets a turn at bat.
okay. I know I joined Little League the second year that they were in North Adams. I'm aging myself. And I started every game, but those kids that didn't start, they had to have one turn at bat. So everybody played. If you had 12 kids on a team, you had 3 people sitting on the bench. They played the 4th and 5th inning, I think it was. They had to play, so we were switching people in and out. Of course, we won 4 years in a row, but I mean, we weren't that good, but we were good. We were better. So, there's less than 15 minutes left. We're coming down onto 10 minutes. Anybody got any idea who that band is out there? It's not Benny Goodman or Woody Herman, we know that.
Come on, if you call in, if you don't call in, you're going to kick yourself when you hear who it was.
Gene Cooper. No?
I've told you not to guess during the show. Do I have to come over there and give you a hug? And
No!
kiss? Is that what I have to do?
Phil, listen to him.
Don't make me get strict with you, mister. You'll have nightmares for a year before I'm through with you. And we have a caller. Good evening and welcome to Porch Talk.
Hello?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello?
Yeah, this is Roger. How about a plug for the Retirees Club, please?
A plug for the Retirees Club, of course.
Thank you.
Do you want to take a guess at the photo?
No.
All right. Thank you, Roger.
You bet.
Well, the Retirees Club, the Northern Berkshire Retirees Club meets the first Thursday of every month at 10 a.m. at the Spitzer Center. If you are of retirement age, whether you are a man or a woman, please consider coming to a meeting and consider becoming a member. The best thing you can do is come to a meeting, and if you like what you see, then speak to us about becoming a member. The dues are very low. I believe it's $15 a year.
Which entitles you to coffee,
A donut,
well, donut,
or maybe more than one.
and we have a picnic in August, right, which is free for the members. And we have a couple meals during the year, one in the fall and one in the springtime, which each member pays a certain amount to enjoy a good meal, sit down, and a little camaraderie. I have been a member for 24 or 5 years. I forgot how many years. We have fun.
Yeah, we
And
do.
once in a while, Paul tells a joke. Yeah, you do tell some good jokes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got a good joke. I've been saving it for 2 weeks. Going to save it till the 1st of July, Thursday in July.
Which will be the 6th.
6th? I thought it was the 7th. Okay, the 6th.
Or maybe the 7th.
Yeah, the 6th, because
Yeah.
the 7th is our show. That's right. Yeah. So we will get things going. I'm surprised Roger called. That's good. And I don't know
Well,
who
it's nice
called
to
on-
know that both of our viewers called.
And I didn't know Ron Sheldon was just got out of the hospital. I know Dickie. I knew Don before he passed, and Ron, and then there was a girl. They lived at the end of the street. I lived on Hooker Street. They lived on Walnut Street, which was the next street over. In fact, I was born on Walnut Street.
That must have been interesting with all the cars going by.
At that time there, even in wintertime, we used to slide down the Hooker Street with no fear of hitting a car. I mean, one person, whoever slid down first, would stand there and wait for the next guy to slide down. And when he come down, the other guy would start walking up, and we took turns sliding down. And once in a while, a car would come by. I can remember being in the 6th or 7th grade, maybe the 6th grade, and we used to sit outside of Bob Brushingham's store and try to guess what car was coming over the overpass by the lights. You know, Ford, a Chevy. They had a lot of different makes of cars back then. Yeah. So that's how we spent our time. Of course, we lived next to Knoll Field, so we had oodles of summer every day. We played baseball down the field
yes.
every day. And it was a wonderful time growing up in that Italian neighborhood.
Well, when my father was a boy, Knoll Field was a dump,
A dump.
what you might call an unsanitary landfill.
Oh, yes. Today would be called an unsanitary landfill. Well, 5 minutes left.
And he told me a rather interesting story. Some of the older boys had built a raft, and one of the older boys invited him and his brother to go for a ride before school. So there they are, wafting down the Hoosick, and they went under a bridge, and there's their teacher. Oh, hello, Mrs. So-and-so, and she looked down. And then they ran into rough waters. The older boy got scared, told them to lie down. He muscled it over to the shore where the truant officer was waiting. He invited the older boy to climb in by grabbing him by the ear and throwing him in. And my father and his brother just quietly got in on their own, and they were taken to the school, and the teacher scolded them and gave them the death sentence.
Oh, boy.
You naughty boys, go home. Well, the older kid had a brilliant idea. Listen, we'll go up on Coca-Cola Ledge, and when we see people coming out to go home, then we'll go home and no one will be the wiser. So that's what they did. And when they saw people coming out, they went down and went home, never guessing that they were coming out for recess. So my grandmother said, "What's the matter?" "Oh, nothing's the matter, nothing's the matter." And then finally, when the kids did get home from school, a girl told her what had happened. So she started beating them.
Oh, wow.
And about the same time she was running out of steam, Grandpa got home and took over where she left off. And in all this time, no one bothered to ask them what happened.
Oh, yeah, there's a multitude of stories like that. When you go back to the old time and you know, what school was he talking about? It wasn't Haskins School.
No, he was talking about the State Street School.
That's where I lived.
Yeah.
Yeah. State Street School, by the way, wasn't on State Street. It was
No,
on
it was
Hooker
State Street neighborhood.
State Street neighborhood. It was on Hooker Street, 23 Hooker Street. And I lived there, and my dad said, "You know, you're in the same, when we were in the Pollard," he said, "That's where I went to school." And I said, yeah, okay. Until we changed the linoleum one day. We ripped up the old linoleum, and there was the round circles with screw holes in the floor where the desk used to be. All right, we got less than 2 minutes. All right, you people didn't guess. It was Earth, Wind, and Fire. No?
Sometimes I hate you. You know, I wouldn't really go and give him a hug and a kiss unless the camera was on. No, put the photo in front of us, please, Dave.
Oh,
Show off.
I'm thinking.
This is the Drury Band. And they are outside the original Drury High School, where the Cold Grove Park Elementary School now has its playground.
Wow.
So the landmarks that are in the background are that big house there that's on the upper left of the screen. That was a mansion that was there. And the little house to its right and to our left, well, that little house there, that was the house that was there for the Blackington's chauffeur.
Okay.
Because the barn that's behind that was the Blackington barn.
Okay, and I can say this much. I'm very surprised that you were around to take those pictures back then.
Well, so am I.
All right, we got 12 seconds. Have a safe holiday because we got the 19th coming up. We'll see you in July.
Yes.
Thank you for calling in, people.
And have a wonderful night.